We talk about emotional abuse with women a lot. And I think whenever we even mention emotional abuse, we automatically think of women as being the victims. But this isn't always true. Men can be victims of emotional abuse just as much as women can. The problem is men do not speak up because it makes men feel worse about themselves, more incompetent, maybe more impotent. If they do say something, it can come across as they're not a strong man in macho terms. I want to tell you right now as a therapist, it's very important if you're a guy and being emotionally abused that you do speak up, because I, as well as other therapists, will for sure believe you. We've seen it happen. We know it happens. And it's important that men form a network where men can speak up and be honest about what's happening in their relationship and in their homes. If you're being emotionally abused and you're a guy, these are some of the ways that you will know. There's a lot of yelling and screaming directed at you. Your abuser will threaten you or try to induce fear in you. They will insult and demean you. They'll make you feel like you're not worth the trouble. They will socially isolate you. They will lie or make false information about you. They will treat you like a child or a servant, someone who is supposed to take care of them. And they will control all the finances, so you won't have any say about the money or where it goes or what the savings are. Your abuser will become dominant in that area. So when women emotionally abuse men, it looks somewhat very similar to when women are emotionally abused, but like it will happen more. I want to say it for how it will feel for the guy, because many times when men are told they're incompetent or they're impotent or they're a failure, it affects them at a deeper level. Whereas when a woman hears that, and we're thinking professionally, the reason this is because women have more of a network. Even a woman who is being abused at any time can tell one other person and get the support they need. That it's not so true for men. Men, first of all, have a hard time talking about it. And secondly, when they do, the person that they're talking to oftentimes will say, well, why are you putting up with it? Or why are you going along with it? And thus making them feel more weak, more like a failure. So this is what you will know the controlling and emotionally abusive relationship would look like when it's coming from a woman, falsely accusing or threatening to accuse a man of assault on them or their children, threatening to take away the custody of the children, threatening to kill themselves or others, making the man feel like he's going crazy, minimizing the abuse, blaming the victim for the abuse, playing mind games, making the man feel guilty, falsely obtaining a restraining order, withholding affection, and stalking. When these are the most typical tactics that a woman abuser will use against a man. So you might say, just like we do with women, well, why does a guy stay in this? Well, because men stay for a lot of reasons. Many of the men will say it's to protect the children, but it can be that the threats made them feel as worthless as if it were threats on a woman making her feel worthless, or to protect the children. They may begin to feel dependent on the abuser. And we've talked about that happening with women. Like if someone strips you of everything you know, including finances, making you feel totally incompetent, before you know it, you will become dependent upon the abuser. And that makes sense. Guys, what do you have to do? You have to find other people you can talk to. Many times guys will turn to their reverend or they will turn to other guys. If you don't get the support you need, it's important you talk to a therapist. A lot of guys are now okay with going online. So you can go to the domestic abuse hotline, Or you can go to Children's Abuse Hotline if you feel that children are aware of this and are seeing this. But what's most important is you leave the relationship if possible, that you tell others about the abuse, that you keep evidence of the abuse for possible legal actions, and that you do not retaliate. When a guy retaliates, it can be deadly. And you do not want to do that, because then you will be part of the problem. And right now it's your abuser who has the problems. You are the victim, and you can get away if you go to others for help.